Good evening everyone and welcome along to another week of TGP2 action. It's Wednesday and it's round 17 and 18 of this thrilling season in TGP2 as we get towards the climax of this World Championship battle this season. I am Ginger Andy, and once again joining me in commentary tonight is the one of Scouse Tones of Dan the Man. Welcome back, Dan.
Good evening, Andy. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to tonight. I love this track around the Netherlands, and then we have Russia, which can, in TGP, still throw up decent races. So the championship battle is getting ever more exciting, and let's see what happens tonight.
Yes, well, we are at the wonderful Zandvoort circuit, yet to race there since the renovations which took place in 2019 and 2020 to bring this Dutch Grand Prix back to the calendar. In real life, we're yet to go there, of course, with COVID blocking it out last year, the sellout crowd missing out, and it looks like we will get it on the calendar this year, of course, in real life, but probably without any fans. We'll wait and see, of course. But we are at the end of qualifying and we're getting our first taste of it. Well, not first taste in TGP, but, you know, our first taste of it this season, of course, and it should be quite exciting. We've got a lap time of around, what, 70 seconds around here? Quick enough to get you around the pole position mark. We've got Jack Pearson on top with a 1 minute 9.3 at the minute, ahead of Mike Noon in second. We've got 3 minutes to go and everyone on their outlaps around the pits. Let's have a quick look down at the World Championship standings going into this one.
Yeah, so heading then to this race, we have Luca, who's dominated recently. He's on 261 points, and then just 14 points back is Jack Pearson on 247. And we've got Mike Noon, who led the championship for so long, is now way back, really, I have to say, on 214. And then Sam Hickey closing in on Mike on 208, and Chris Johnson on 199. So those top five are really the big five, you have to say. And I think for the likes of Mike Noon and Sam and Chris Johnson tonight is a very important night. Can't afford to lose any more points, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Dan. They cannot afford to lose any more points. It really is now or never, isn't it, if they want to get back into this fight. It's Luca versus Jack at the minute, unless Mike, Sam, Chris can seriously have a good night and the likes of Luca and Jack can have a poor night. I mean, we've seen last night Soft Cop crashing out of all people from the lead of the race round here. So it's a track that can bite. The barriers are not far away, so there's every possibility Soft Cop or any one of these if Soft Cop can do it, any one of these drivers can. Put it that way. He is like a TGP1 god, isn't he? As Sam Hickman is out there, and he is 3/10 up at the minute on his best lap so far of the session, and that could propel him right up the order if he can put together this final sector, Dan. He really is doing a good job here.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen someone go into 30 seconds in the first sector, 48.0 middle sector. This is really quick from Sam Hickey. If he can just nail this final sector. He did not decide to go out for the third run a few minutes ago while all the other big guys did. He's waiting until the end of the session. Oh, I think he's took a bit too much curve there. There's a McLaren that's gone off around the final corner. Let's see if he can keep the pole position, though. I think he might have lost a bit of time, and it's only good enough for second.
Second position then for Sam Hickman. It's a good effort, but with other drivers still to run, will they be able to knock him off that front row? Jack Pearson survives then on pole position. He's about to start a flying lap. We've got Mike Noon out there and pushing hard and fighting 0.2 of a second at the minute, but he's gone a little bit deep. But he might just get away with that one, Dan. We'll wait and see as Mike Noon negotiates his way round the final few corners of this tight, twisty Zandvoort circuit, right on the shores, right on the beaches here in the Netherlands. As he comes round that final backed corner and up towards the line, he'll get a slight tow from the car in front, but Mike Noon looking for pole and getting it by a distance of 1 minute 8.856. He's half a second clear on a 70-second lap.
It's a brilliant lap, and Jack's already invalidated. Literally just 15 seconds into his final run, he is invalidated, so that's it. It's game over for Jack. I'm not sure if Sam's going to go again. No, Sam can't go again, so we turn our attention really, I suppose, to Luca Giapelli at this stage in terms of the championship battle. 30.1 first sector, that's about 10th off from Mike Noon.
Oh, well, he's still looking good for a potential front row spot here then. The World Championship leader looking to stretch that lead further. Of course, he leads the championship by 17 points going into this race. How much he'd love to get ahead of his nearest rival, Jack Pearson, with only a few races to go, he knows it's all about just keeping it clean and tidy, as he's done all season long. Mike Noon has been the pole position king throughout the year. He's been the speedster, but Luca Chiapelli has been Mr. Consistent. Will he be the speedster on the Saturday this time round, though, as he heads for the line at the end of the session? Is it pole? No, it's not. It's not even the front row. He's half a tenth away from denying Jack Pearson. He's in third, but I suppose, given the situation in the championship, he may take that.
That is a dominant lap time, isn't it, then, from Mike Newman? Just look and see if anybody else could improve. You've got Dom coming around the final corner in 7th place. Let's see if he can get himself up there a little bit more. I'm not enjoying it now. I think he's pitting. In fact, he is pitting. Chris Johnson's coming around the final couple of corners now as well, and that's going to be an invalidation for Chris Johnson. So I'm not sure we're going to see any more improvements. I think that's it for everyone. There's Bazza's also invalidated, and that will be the end of the session. There's been a big crash there across the line, but well, what a fascinating qualifying session, and what a dominant pole lap from Mike Newman.
Yeah, an absolute mess across that start line, as you say, Dan, but what a lap time, what a dominant effort that is. You're absolutely right from Mike Newman. Dan, is it lap of the season perhaps to have a gap that big on such a small circuit?
Well, considering what the field spread is usually like around here, I have to say I was not expecting someone to be on pole by that big of a distance, so I have to say probably yes. Look at that, it's nearly half a second around this short lap time.
Yeah, half a second, less than 70 seconds. Very, very impressive. 68 seconds, and he's picked half a second out his nearest rival. There is the final qualifying results from round 17 here in Zandvoort. It's Mike Noon who puts the Red Bull on pole by a distance. Jack Pearson in second. Mike Noon, incidentally, the only man in the 1 minute 8. It's Mr. Chiapelli in third position. His nearest rival starts just in front in the championship. Sam Hickman is a solid fourth, with Chris Thurgood impressing again in fifth. How will the internet hold up, though? Bossman Sean is sixth, Dom Smith is seventh, and Chris Johnson is eighth. Blair Grill's ninth, and it's a good showing from Alex Zaffro to round out the top 10. Then it's Bazza, Shep, Nailjack, Indecisive, Stereogram, Dark Shadow, Red Bull Kim, Mr. John, and Sir Tom Penguin completing the grid of drivers. So, what a race we have in store here. It could be a race of patience, Dan the man, because we know overtaking is not very easy around here.
Yes, it is very difficult to overtake. It might be a bit of a just sit and hope that you can pressure your opponent to make a bit of an error, I suppose. But just to put that into context, by the way, that lap would have put Mike 8th on the grid yesterday in TGP1, and then Jack in second place there would have been 14th. So huge gap. Dominant lap from Mike Newman, who seriously, he has to get back on the winner's spot, doesn't he? He has to. He won, as we said last week, 4 of the first 7 races. Actually, after the first 8 rounds of the season, he was 10 points ahead of Luca in the lead of the championship. And now he's chopped right back. Big loss of form. Reminds me of a football team, certain football team.
Yeah, mate. Are you talking about Kilmarnock or Liverpool?
Well, I mean, I suppose it could be both if you want, but
both. It could be. I mean, oh yeah, Mike Noon's basically both our football clubs at the minute, isn't he? As the cars line up on the grid, then the 5 red lights coming on, only 4 showing on the camera, but who cares? As we go racing for round number 17 of the championship, Mike Noon needs a result today, and he gets off the grid well. He's ahead of Jack Pearson into turn 1, and he'll retain that lead. And that's a slide, that's a spin, that's a World Championship leader spinning out and round. It's unbelievably. Look at Chiapelli down at the back of the field, facing the wrong way, and that is exactly what he did not need to do. Virtual safety
huge
car
for the
deployed.
championship. Virtual safety car is out immediately. Mike Noon done his classic chop at the start on Jack Pearson once again, but Luca Chiapelli is at the back, is in 19th place, just like Singapore last time, but this time I think it was an error all by himself.
Yeah, it looked to me like he got too hot into the corner, drove into a wedge that was always going to disappear, clipped the side of his nearest rival, Jack Pearson, and went for a spin. And I'll tell you what, Jack would have looked in his mirrors and said, okay, I'll take that, thank you very much. And this is a track you could somewhat say it's even more difficult to overtake than perhaps it is in Singapore. So this is going to be a real struggle for Luca Chiapelli now to get a strong result, but we know he's strong, we know he's consistent, we know he doesn't pick up penalties, and maybe he can try and engineer a way back up through the field. And it's all about damage limitation now. He just needs to limit the damage. Unlike last week, his main rivals, even when he is a poor race, were not performing. They are today, though. They're first and second.
Yeah, Jack Pearson is 13 points back, 14 points behind. If it stays like this, he will take the lead. We're back underway, and can Jack Pearson get a run on Mike Noon to take the lead? You've got to have a pin in the pit already. That's Sam Hickey.
Yeah, I think it is Sam Hickman in the pit lane as Jack Pearson has a little look behind Mike Noon. If you can shuffle down and see if there's any kind of damage there for us, Dan, I'm not too sure, but we don't know with Jack
it is
Pearson.
front wing change.
Okay, good to know. So front wing change then as Chris Thurgood does as usual and leaves the session with an internet issue. Jack Pearson then up behind Mike Noon on lap 2 out of 18. The two people chasing down Luca Chiapelli in the World Championship, who, folks, if you haven't remembered, is already at the back of the pack after spinning on lap 1. What incredible scenes here we have in this TGP2 title race, swinging one way, then the other. But it's been a real mid-season rise from Luca Chiapelli. Is this the end of season falling apart now?
Well, let's find out, shall we? But brilliant stuff for Dom as well. He was down in, 7th place, up to 3rd now after all the incidents ahead. So looking really good as well for Mercedes in the Constructors at the moment. They've got a pretty big lead over AlphaTauri, and they'll certainly be holding on to it after this race with Chiapelli 19th and Mr. John only in 10th. Half a second separating the top two. DRS is enabled on this lap.
Yeah, it sure is, and Jack Pearson's tucked right up behind the back of that Red Bull car. He's having a look into that first corner. Is he going to be close enough? Doesn't look like it, but he certainly looks to have the race pace in that Mercedes, and he's tucked right in there, just ready to pounce on Mike Noon. But Dan, you do feel it's so difficult to overtake round here. It might be all about getting that undercut in the pit stops. Will they go for that aggressive undercut manoeuvre? But there's so much traffic, you don't want to come out in traffic. It's going to be a really delicate game. Difficult strategy calls being made perhaps, unless he, of course, he can do it on the racetrack, but he really is hunting Mike Noon down and applying as much pressure as he can. Mike Noon puts a wheel on the grass, and Jack Pearson might think about going down the inside. Oh, that's not a place to try it, and he nearly went for it there, Dan. That would have been carnage, surely.
I think he would have took them both out the race if he went for that move there. That would have been way too much of a risk. It's hard to hang back, but wow, Mike Noon is certainly feeling the pressure, isn't he?
He sure is, Dan, no doubt about it. I mean, it certainly looks like Jack has got not just a couple of attempts in hand, half a second or so in hand. He's really struggling to get that Red Bull fired up in full race trim, and he's squirming around on the exit of the corners. Jack Pearson smells blood, and he fancies getting a move done in Mike Noon. His nearest title rival, Chiapelli, is last place at the minute here on lap 3 of 18. Can Jack Pearson make it the ultimate damage and take the lead of the race? And it looks like he will. Right round the outside into turn 1. Mike will brake late, and Jack brakes even later. Too late. He's off, and Mike Noon slithers back through. And that is great news down at AlphaTauri for Luca Chiapelli, as Jack had the move done. He had it all sorted. He didn't need to brake that late. He did, and went sailing off the racetrack.
Well, it's a disastrous turn 1 for both the Mercedes, because Bossman Sean just got into 3rd place as well ahead of Dom at turn 1. But wow, I mean, who would have thought Jack Pearson would have had so much pace over Mike Noon, considering what we've just seen in qualifying. And Jack had the position, but was too late on the brakes, and Mike Noon gets back ahead. But I wonder if it might not be too long, perhaps, until Jack's right back at him again, possibly.
Yeah, going by the speed he's showing so far, perhaps he will. Mike Noon, by the way, he has been draining the battery. He's not just been coasting around at front toying with Jack. He's down at 30% ERS. Jack's up at 45. So, I mean, they're both using it up, but Mike Noon, you know, I'm trying to find excuses for his slow pace, but we're just not finding them at the minute, Dan.
Yeah, it's really strange, isn't it? I wonder if he might decide to pit early, possibly, as Chris rejoins us. And but Mr. Chiapelli, we should say, is still running at the very back, proving how difficult it is to overtake Sam Hickey in 13th.
Oh, he's going for it up the inside, and now Jack Chiapelli at the back of the pack. Not often we see a battle for 18th and 19th place, but given the situation in the championship, I think we must. And Chiapelli barges his way down the inside of Alex Coates and is up into 18th place. Despite the TGPSeries point system, you still won't get points for that, and he needs to continue his charge up through the field.
Yeah, and Sam Hickey as well, who of course is very close to making it in the championship, 13th. Chris Johnson, who's just there as well, is in 6th at the minute, so decent stuff for Chris Johnson, I suppose. But it's these two ahead at the front, as once again Jack Pearson is beginning to close in a little bit, as Mr. John takes 8th place from Indecisive.
Yep, Mr. John, he's had an absolutely flying opening stint to this race. He's up 10 places from 18th on the grid, so that is an astonishing start from him. No time set in qualifying, presumably a qualifying pattern for him, so he's making up for it very well in the race so far. 5 laps gone, he's gaining 2 places a lap at this rate, 10 places up, absolutely flying at the minute. Baza just in front of him, incidentally the highest runner at the minute on the medium tyre, so he's having a good race. We've got Red Bull Kim off the road somewhere, he's just rejoined, that's why we've got a yellow flag, and Alex Zaffro swoops around the outside of him as Red Bull Kim rejoins the action. But we need to go back to Mr. Mike Noon under pressure.
Chris Johnson just getting past Blair Grills there as well for 5th place into the turn 1, so another position for Chris Johnson. Solid race for him so far, you have to say. As we've got a yellow flag out and another car's gone off. I think it's Red Bull Kim again, isn't it?
Yeah, not having a good afternoon here in the Netherlands. Red Bull Kim down to 18th place now. Chiapelli up to 16th. He's got ahead of Dark Shadow as well as Red Bull Kim. And of course Neil Jack, as we saw, as we pick up Indecisive, who's on the back of Sir Tom Penguin, running in 9th and 10th at the minute, these two. Jack Pearson still 6/10ths off. I'll stick with this for now, but if he gets any closer, we're going to have to jump ship towards the guys at the front. Sir Tom Penguin still running in that 9th place at the minute with his teammate Alex Zafro in 14th, and I think now is a good time to switch back to the leaders. It's very, very close. Jack Pearson still trying to apply that pressure at 1/3 race distance here in the Netherlands. And are we far away now, Dan, from a pit stop? You know this track well, you know the strategy. You won here last night, you are the expert.
Well, I mean, I won here last night, but that was in a wet dry race, of course. This is very different, as Jack Pearson once again is closing in, but he's just a bit too far back this time round.
He sure is. What about Baza? He's not too far back. He's down the inside and he's clipped intimately at Blue Grills. Blue Grills almost spins, slides, gets away with it. They both lose valuable time.
Jack Pearson's got a run on McNoon for the lead. That's a 10-3.
Look at that, side by side they go. I don't know if McNoon's made a mistake somewhere. Sweeping up the hill and down. And Jack Pearson has swooped into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. McNoon convincing in qualifying, far from it in the race. And Jack Pearson swoops through into what you may feel could be a decisive moment in this race. And crucially the championship as well, with Chiapelli all the way down in 14th. Unbelievable stuff.
Massive moment in the championship then, so I'm not really sure what happened, but I mean he just went round the outside from Jack Pearson, and then I imagine used overtake coming out of turn 3, where you can get a great boost with the overtake button out of that corner of the bank, and pulled ahead of Mike Nguyen to take the lead of this race. And on the second time of trying, of course, there was no error this time, but they got incredibly close.
He sure did. Have we got pit stops coming up? Yes, Jack Pearson fearing the undercut from Mike Nguyen comes into the pits. Brakes as hard as he can. Does he get it slowed down? Yes, he does. And he comes. Set of medium tyres going straight onto that Mercedes right now. Mike Nguyen stays out. He's going to need to make up for that very well. He's going to need to put something very special together here, because things are not looking good, are they?
It's going to have to be a magic lap from Mike Nguyen, and he's going to have to hope that Jack gets in a bit of traffic. Let's see. I tell you what, Tom Penguin's coming round, but I think Jack is going to avoid it, and it's going to have 7 seconds of fresh air ahead of him.
Well, he's played it brilliantly, Jack Pearson. He really is looking strong this afternoon. There's no doubt about it. He's on fine form and he's looking good for victory, with his main rival in the championship crumbling down in 14th place. I'm sure he'll get himself into the top 10 come the finish, but that is not what Luca Chiapelli will like to see at all. The man who's been so consistent throughout the season. A few errors now beginning to creep into his game, Dan, and you've got to feel that that must be down to the pressure with the winning line getting ever closer.
Presumably so, yes. It will be interesting certainly to hear from him about that instance at the start. Mike Nguyen's just gone purple in sector 2, so I tell you what, if this is Mike Nguyen's in lap, he's certainly going for it, and I assume he will pit. Surely he's going to dive into the pit lane, and he does indeed, and so does Bossman Sean.
Yeah, for Bossman Sean, and
he's spun a penalty. He sped. Mike Nguyen sped.
Unbelievable, the pressure telling for Mike Nguyen. He's got himself a penalty. That's a rapid pit stop, by the way, but it will mean absolutely nothing, because he's gone and sped on the way into the pits, and that is a damaging blow to his championship hopes. Yet again, he's the king of the speed.
And he's going to beat.
He's going to beat.
He's beaten him out the pit lane as well.
He has, but that penalty is going to kill him. It's going to absolutely kill him. What an in-lap it was, but he's ruined it on the pit entry. Disaster.
Oh, that's such a shame for the race, isn't it? I think we might have been shaping up for another big battle here between those two, but Jack can be a little bit more circumspect about it all now and can just hold station, I suppose, with that 5 seconds, of course, that you get for speeding in the pit lane.
Absolutely right. And just a quick update on the others. Mr. Chiapelli now 12th as other drivers make their pit stops. We've got Sam Hickman down in 17th place. Got to feel, without a points haul here today, his championship aspirations are over.
Yeah, that's a second pit stop for Sam Hickey, so I wonder if he had another incident, perhaps. As Indecisive certainly had an instance. He's spun as he clears out the way for the other cars coming ahead, so he's going to lose a few positions. Sir Tom Penguin running a brilliant 6th place, although of course he is still yet to pit. Bazza in 2nd place on the mediums, highest runner on the mediums, so be interesting to see where he can be in the latter stage of this race on fresh softs.
Yep, will be interesting to see what he can do. He's absolutely having a fine race, isn't he? Only 2.8 seconds behind Dom Smith, who's on the faster soft tyre. So you've got to feel Baz will be looking to get ahead of Dom Smith come the end of this race on that strategy. He's running really well. Dom Smith always says he and Baz find themselves on the same bit of racetrack. I think they'll be finding themselves on the same bit of racetrack come the end of this afternoon in the Netherlands. I think you would agree, Dan?
I think you're absolutely right, yeah, but I'm not sure if Dom's just waiting for a safety car now or something. 10 laps on these soft tyres as Jack gets a penalty. Jack Pearson gets a penalty as that reduces it to 2 seconds now. And I have to say, Mike Noon's pace seems to be a little bit better on these medium tyres.
So Tom Penguin out of shape. The chance here for Chris Johnson. He's got straight into the side of him. Oh, banging wheels here. That was a little bit aggressive from Chris Johnson. He pulls alongside Sir Tom Penguin. He needs to get that move done on Penguin. He's going to go round the outside, and he has made it work. Very tidy stuff in the end from Chris Johnson. Not initially, but he has got the job done, and he's through up into 6th place. And still, by the way, we've got Dom Smith in the pits. We've got a yellow.
We've got Red Bull Kim is out the race. I've actually lost it. Is that turn 5? I think it is. I'm not sure. I think he may be off the track though, so it shouldn't require any sort of safety car, virtual safety car, and Dom might be quite disappointed about that. And he's in the pit lane. It's going to be close between Dom and Chris Johnson on the pit exit. Very close indeed.
And Dom Smith will be delighted to see that red Baron behind him. Crucially, we've got more yellow flags out there. We've got McLaren facing the wrong way. Who's that? M. Shep,
that Shepherd? It is, yeah, it's M. Shep.
So he gets back going again, but just waiting, I think, is the case for Baza for that virtual safety car to come out. We've got Tom Penguin in the pits now. He's in 11th place, but Baza's given himself a nice window of opportunity for another safety car or virtual, hasn't he?
He has indeed, yes, but look, they're still very close to Dom and Chris Johnson, and I suspect Baza will be fast approaching them as well once he makes his stop. So it could really kick off between these three from the latter stages, and none of them even have penalties as of yet.
Yep, absolutely right. I should also mention, look at Chiapelli now up into the top 8, as you would expect, I suppose. But we've still got pit stops from Dom Smith, from Baza. You'd think Baza with the soft tyre would have a good chance of being ahead of Chiapelli. So Chiapelli's going to have to start making moves on the racetrack if he wants to finish any higher, isn't he?
He is. Look at Sir Tom Penguin and Mr. John. Great move by Sir Tom Penguin into 10th, but he's gone off. Oh dear.
Off, and Sam Hickman's going to get into the bother again of some action out there. And look at this, we've got Alex Zaffro in there. No, we don't. He's further up the road. It's Tom Penguin, Sam Hickman, and Mr. John all doing battle over the final points positions on the racetrack. Sir Tom Penguin's having a fine afternoon, isn't he? In the World Championship points at the minute in 10th place. He's got Sam Hickman though, who's very, very quick for company, and he's got a championship battle to stay in. He clips Sir Tom Penguin, who slides ever so slightly, and now on the exit, compromised slightly, they bang wheels. Sir Tom Penguin holding on, up the inside, tries Sam Hickman, and he's round again. Not for the first time this afternoon, he's facing the wrong way, and Sam Hickman drops through the field, and that's that youth exuberance showing again.
Yeah, I was just thinking that was not really a place to go for a move there into that tricky turn 2. That was a big risk, and as if you're going to clip that curb going for an overtake on a car, you're always going to have the possibility of going round. Oh,
Baz has got a virtual safety car at the crucial moment as he enters the pits, but the problem is he's got a 5-second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. 5-second penalty, but he's still going to be flying.
He has, yeah, but I think he's going to quite easily beat these guys out the pits. But Dom, is he? I think he will. Yeah, he will be ahead. He will be out ahead of Dom.
Wow.
But he does have that penalty, which is such a shame.
It is a shame, but he's going to be absolutely flying on those tyres.
He is, yeah. I mean, he would have had to try and get past Dom and Chris Johnson, as you were saying. We were saying it would have been close between them. But now he's already cleared them, thanks to the VSC. He'll be gutted he has that penalty.
Yeah, especially with everyone in front having time penalties. Baza has missed a glorious opportunity to potentially win this race on the soft compound here, Dan. He's blown it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, he's 6.3 seconds off. He can close that right up with those soft tyres. That is such a shame, isn't it?
Oh, he'll be furious with himself. He'll be absolutely furious. What an opportunity for Baza, potentially going a begging here with that virtual safety car timed to perfection with his pit stop. Oh, what a disaster. Still on for a strong result potentially though.
He is, yes. I mean, we'll see if he can pull out 5 seconds from Dom and Chris behind. He is on the softs, as we say, so it's possible. He can possibly do that.
Yeah, I suppose it's going to be interesting to see. If he can stretch out a gap on them and try and reel the guys in front, what would you say the delta would be between the tyres around here, as we've got Williams coming out the pitch? Should be just out the way of the likes of Dom and Chris, which it is. But what would you say the delta is?
The delta, well, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, because, like I said, in TGP1 we haven't actually really had over the 2 seasons, we haven't had a proper strategy dry race around here, but I imagine it would be pretty big given the layout of the track and the corners. But it's both the Red Bulls then who both have pit lane penalties for speeding, so they've got to be a bit more careful on that pit entry.
Yeah, perhaps something's up with the speedos in those Red Bull cars, perhaps. Adrian Newey will need to get his paws on that one and have a little look at any potential problems. Either that, or they're just pretty poor at judging the speed limit. Probably the latter. Sorry, lads. But yes, 14 laps gone out of 18. It's Mike Noonan in the lead of this Grand Prix, but his penalty situation is not a good one. It's not looking good for him at all. 5 seconds. Jack Pearson has a 3-second time penalty, and at the minute though, is more than 2 seconds behind. It's in the balance.
Yeah, it's going to be I think it's going to be very close, isn't it? If it stays around this gap, it could be so close between these two. Jack has to be within 2 seconds, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Unless my math is very wrong.
I'm pretty sure you're right. I was just having a couple of second thoughts on that one, but I believe you're absolutely right. So what an opportunity then for Jack Pearson. It's not over yet. What an opportunity for Mike Noonan to build that gap. Sorry, we thought it was over. We thought Jack had such superior speed, but the second half of this race is showing otherwise. And as the fuel's burned off, it just seems that Mike Noonan's back in quali mode.
Yeah, I mean, this really could be so close. Look, it's constantly going from 1.92, 2.1. It's going to be so close between these two if it stays like this for 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm getting Norris flashbacks from the first race in Austria last year.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
It's be so close. This Jack, unseen by us, has got himself ahead of Mr. John. Oh, that's very close. And Mr. John has to concede, and Jack is up into 11th place. And Mr. John, who had that flying start, getting so many places, is now down in 12th place. But I'm so sure he'll take that from the back row of the grid. So
we've got Mike Noonan on 30% ERS, and Jack on 18. So Mike Noonan might have a little bit more to use towards the end here. As Chris Johnson still is within a second of Dom and can't make any sort of overtake on him.
Yep, Chris Johnson not getting close enough at all. We know how difficult it is around here to overtake. I've got to say though, Dan, a track that doesn't provide much overtaking, I've actually enjoyed it so far. I think there's been enough action to keep us entertained out there this afternoon. Especially
definitely,
the laps between Jack and Mike. They really had us on the edge of our seats, and they're going to have us on the edge of our seats in like a quali sort of timing battle here, aren't they, towards the end of this one? At the minute, Jack Pearson's fighting back. He's getting himself back within that 2 seconds, and then drops straight back out again.
it's 2.001 it said there for a moment. Well, the gap between me and Jack yesterday in this race was 0.074 across the line. It could be very could be even closer this time round with these guys once the penalties are applied.
Oh, by the way, Jack Pearson draining the battery down that straight to get down to 1.7. He had nothing left when he hit the brakes for turn 1. Mike Noonan, 27%. You just feel that Mike Noonan is just teasing Jack. Get within 1.7, 1.6, and I'll just blitz the battery on the final lap. But that's a dangerous game to play, isn't it?
It is a very dangerous game to play, especially if you see them coming up in your mirrors, and then it can easily just force you into making a silly error. But as you say, again, low on ERS, Jack Pearson here, 5%, Mike Noonan on 20.
We need to shuffle back here because this is a massive moment in the championship. We've got Mr. Chiapelli running in 8th position at the minute. Really, realistically, only one more position for him to gain from this Grand Prix, and it's from Blair Grills in 7th. With a lap and a half to go, he really needs these points. Oh, he's got to get ahead of him. It's so important. He's got very little left though on that battery. Neither does Blair Grills right enough. So you do fancy Chiapelli will get a chance down that start-finish straight?
Yeah, so I think if it stays like this, it would reduce the gap to about, I think it'd be about 3 or 4 points, I think, if Jack Pearson stays in 2nd place. If Jack Pearson wins, I think he would take the lead. So every position counts here.
Well, can Chiapelli get himself within range? Up behind Blair Grills, Round the final corner they go. This is absolutely colossal. Mike Noon out front has got it around 2 seconds again. He's draining that battery, but this is so important for Luca Chiapelli. Last chance saloon down into turn 1 for the World Championship points that he crucially needs, and he's through and ahead of Blair Grills. He covers him off on the apex on the exit, and that's a crucial 7th place and a crucial couple of points up the road for Mr. Chiapelli. Crucial point. Look at that gap. Look
how close it is. It's 2.094, 2.1 now. I think Magnussen might just hold on because similar ERS, it's not going to be really how they handle the final sector. It is like a qualifying lap.
He's got M-Shep in front of him though as well. I don't know if he's there or if he's disconnected. I think he's disconnected, so I was going to say that could really hamper him. It doesn't look like it though. The gap's up to 2.5. This looks good for Mike Noon. Well, the man who was rapid in qualifying looked slow in the opening stages of the race, picked up a time penalty as well, but he's levelled it out. He's rode the storm and he's going to come home and take the victory here in the Netherlands. A vital win to reignite his championship hopes. What a massive moment in this World Championship chase. Oh, this is huge. Jack
and it's
Pearson
going to be close
second.
between... Sorry, Andy, it's going to be close between Bazza and Dom with the 5 seconds, and Bazza just holds on to 4th.
Just by a fraction and no more. Dom Smith 5th, Chris Johnson 6th, Chiapelli 7th at the end of that. I suppose when you're facing the wrong way down at turn 1 and in the pits on lap 1, you'll take it. But wow, 7th for Chiapelli, 8th Blair Girls, 9th Alex Zaffro. I think we'll see what happens for the 2 Renault boys with the penalties. Sir Tom Penguin seen the flag 10th, I think. Will Neiljack steal the double top 10 finish from Renault? Across the line he comes. No, he won't. No, he will. He'll
yes,
take it off Sir Tom Penguin. And even Mr. John takes it off Tom Penguin as well. Despite that huge gap, he must have had some amount of penalties, the Renault driver. But what a massive moment in this World Championship race. Just when it looked like Luca Chiapelli had put the boot down, drove away, that consistency he'd shown was just too much for the others. Mike Noon and Jack Pearson bite back, and bite back ferociously, Dan. First and second, Chiapelli only 7th. The gap closed right up.
Brilliant stuff, wasn't it? Absolutely superb. And Tom Penguin gets driver of the day, which, to be fair, I think he deserves. He had a good race, didn't he? He was right up there, but Bazza as well, I think. Despite I know the virtual safety car helped, but I think he probably might just edge it for me. But it's the other Red Bull, top step of the podium with a win. Finally, once again, back on the top step. It's been quite a while. And he has in fact broke the record, hasn't he, for the most wins in TGP2 now officially. Mike Noon.
Yep. Mike Noon breaks the record for the most wins ever in TGP2. It took him a while. It was quite the wait, but good things come to those who wait, and Mike Noon has broke the record for the most wins in TGP2 history, but he won't care about that. It's all about the World Championship, and he has sliced the gap down significantly. He and Jack Pearson, a double act today, cutting the gap on Chiapelli. We've got one more race to come tonight. Will the gap be cut any further? Mike Noon wins then here in the Netherlands with Jack Pearson in second. Bossman Sean, another strong showing. He's really picked up his form in recent weeks in third. F1 Bazza, 4th. For me, he's the driver of the day. I thought he was excellent this afternoon apart from that penalty. Dom Smith is 5th with Chris Johnson 6th. Mr. Chiapelli comes home 7th with Blair Grills 8th. Alex Zaffro gets points for Renault in P9. Despite the 9 seconds, he stayed there. Neil Jack gets that final top 10 spot. Mr. John 11th with Sir Tom Penguin 12th. He was in the action everywhere. Sam Hickman was next. Then it was M-Shep, Indecisive, Chris Thurgood, Stereogram, Red Bull Kim, and Dark Shadow complete the order. What a race. What a massive moment in the World Championship. When we look back on this season in years to come, could this be one of the moments in the championship, one of the races in the championship, Dan, where we go, yeah, that was a critical moment?
I think it probably will be, won't it? But I suppose how the championship ultimately ends and the actual winner will decide precisely which moment. Obviously, if Luca misses out, will it be that spin? Or if Jack misses out, will it be not closing in on Mike Noon at the end? You know, it's so difficult to say at the moment, but that was fantastic stuff, wasn't it? Part race, part time trial.
Yeah, it really was. Brilliant, wasn't it? It was exactly as you say, part race, part-time trial. And interestingly, Mike Noon, point for fastest lap as well, Dan. So the gap even further, relentless stuff.
Yeah, it's very true, yes, and I'm just working out the standards now, and I'll be able to bring them to you in literally just a few seconds. And so after that race then, and this is how important it was for that Mike Noon won, and Jack Pearson didn't win. If you look at Chiapelli, you've got Chiapelli 269 points, Jack Pearson 265. So it really was just those couple of tenths of a second taking away the championship lead there for Jack Pearson. Then we got Mike Noon on 240, so he has closed back in. Sam Hickey, obviously after that poor race, is on 210. Chris Johnson is on 208. So 4 points separate the top two.
Wow. And what was Mike back then? What was the total?
And then we got Mike Noon on 240, so Mike Noon's 29 points back.
That's definitely not out with the realms of possibility at this stage. We said it, didn't we, last week? He needs a result. He desperately needs a result, and a bad one for Luca to give himself any chance. And 29 points back with 5 races to go. That's doable. He's within range now.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's absolutely doable. Yeah, it's his first race win since the United States, which was the 7th race of the season. It took until the 17th for the next one and for the record to be broken. And finally he's done it, just when his time we think was starting to run out in terms of fighting for the championship. But he is right back in it now, you have to say, and especially with that poor race for Luca.
Yeah, well, look at he needs a response now. He doesn't. He needs to clear his head. Okay, one race out the way. He's shown before if you can have one good race and one bad race in a night, it's not the end of the world. It can actually equal itself out, can't it? So he just needs to just clear his head. We're going to Russia next. A track that suits those that don't cut corners, keep their nose clean, because it's a track that's so easy to do so on. So you would fancy a look around here, wouldn't you?
I think I probably would. Yeah. I mean, as you say, the corner cutting is going to be a huge factor in this race coming up now. It is so easy to cut multiple corners around this circuit. So obviously we do tend to see drivers such as Jack Pearson, don't we, who certainly likes to extend quite a bit. So that could really be a disadvantage for him and could be precise. This could be the absolute precise track, the perfect track for Luca at this stage after such a poor race around Netherlands.
Yep, that's exactly what he needs, isn't it? We'll see how it goes for him. We're about to jump into the action in a moment. And of course, as me and Dan always like to do in the second race of the evening, we've got plenty of time. We've got 18 minutes of qualifying ahead of us. We will do a little tour of the lap, a little guide of the lap on board with one of the drivers. Hopefully they don't go cutting corners and we get a proper look at it. But yeah, Dan, initial impressions of the Sochi Autodrome. I mean, this is going to be a bit like Vietnam, isn't it?
Well, probably, yes. Ultimately, yeah. But not entirely, because, I mean, the actual venue of the circuit, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan just in general of just this race and where it is, I have to say. But I never have been, and it's just bland. I know it. I mean, it does look nice with it's got all the Olympic stadiums, hasn't it, from the 2014 Winter Olympics. But just in terms of just the place, just seems so dull and boring, and just seems a bit too grey for me. But look at that! Talk about grey. It's pouring with rain.
Well, Dan, did you know it was going to rain? Because
I did not.
The link there was superb. That was first class. Oh wow! Well, talk about grey and dull. There it is, folks. Just as if Sochi Autodrome couldn't get any greyer or any duller. It's raining. So there you go. And interestingly, I've loaded up the timing ladder here, and everyone is on softs in the pits.
Yeah.
Does that now mean that the track is at its best now, and if you don't get out onto that racetrack, you're in serious trouble? I tell you what, I think we're going to have to bend this hot lap talk, because we're not going to get much time, because I think it's all about these lap times straight out the pits. And Dark Shadow is the first man out there, and he's going straight off at turn 1 and turn 2. Wow.
So obviously they will be looking at the game, and the game will give them a delta of what tyres look like the best at that particular moment. And so presumably now it says that the softs are the way to go.
Stereogram straight off at turn 1 as well. And they're all going off at turn 1. They're all struggling to get through the first couple of corners. If I was in the pitch now and I was someone down the bottom of the order, I'd be sticking a set of inters on that right now and just going for it. Why not?
Well, let's see.
They're off again.
Yeah,
Who's
another
that?
card off. Stereogram off again.
Unbelievable. They're all struggling for grip already. The rain is coming down. I'm looking outside the commentary box window, and Dan, it looks like it's pouring down. Raindrops pouring down on the commentary box window here, and it's time for a set of intermediate tyres before the sections barely began.
Well,
they're all struggling.
Luca, who of course is famously likes to choose medium tyres as his first run, he's straight out on the softs, but Alex Zafro, look, he's on the inters.
Oh, wow. Inspired call perhaps from Alex Zafro. Let's pick him up then. There he is. Intermediate tyre for Alex Zafro. That could be an inspired move from the Renault man. Is he about to shock us all and put it on pole, for goodness sake? This
is incredible, isn't it? Got Basser on the mediums, which I have to say is a decision I'm not entirely sure overall about, but let's find out. We'll see what happens here. This is going to be amazing.
I don't think it's a thing on this game, but I remember back on 2018 or 2017 that if you ran a harder compound in damp conditions where it was dry weather, you were on to a win. That was the way to go. So whether that's still a thing in the game or not, I don't know. Whether Bazza knows that or he's just unintentionally went on those tyres, I don't know. I don't think it is a thing in the game anymore, by the way. Alex Zafro going slowly out there in a minute, as we've got Bossman Sean running the final corner. Who we got on laps at the minute? Who we got out there pushing?
Well, Dark Shadow is on a lap right now. I think he's going to be the first across the line, and he hasn't gone off yet. He hasn't invalidated yet. It seems actually pretty steady, I have to say. So far, so good for him. And then we've got Dom and Chris Johnson on laps at the moment. Is that a card off? I think it's Indecisive's gone off, but it's on his out lap.
Yeah, Lucas out there as well on inters. Is this an inspired move from Alex Zafro? I suppose if you're down the bottom of the field anyway, or in the midfield, you know, this is your chance to shine. This is your chance to come into the limelight. You know, you get nothing to lose. So why not go for it? So Alex Zafro, I don't think it's quite ready. I don't think it's quite ready. It might just be too soon. But it was worth the gamble.
Oh, I think it was definitely worth the gamble, yeah, absolutely. And it's a shame, really, actually, if it doesn't pay off for him, because I think I would have probably done the same thing if I was in his position, and we'll find out. We'll see what happens. I mean, of course, DRS, we should note, is still enabled. So usually when DRS is disabled, that's usually the point where, you know, that's the crossover point.
Yep, absolutely. We'll wait and see. Bossman Sean out there in a minute on a lap. Dark Shadow, as you said, will be the first man to see the flag. I do not think he's setting the world alight, though, by the way. He's going to be at least a 1 minute 45, I think, by the time he comes around this final couple of corners. What's it going to be? Dark Shadow. It's a 1:44.7, not quite a 1:45. Bossman Sean then. He's a good bit quicker than that as he comes around the final few corners. Nailjack 1:40.7. Tom Smith 1:39.9. What's Bossman Sean got in his pocket? There's a few cars just in front of that completing their laps. Chris Johnson 1:39.8. Bossman
got
Sean
Mike Nguyen
1:37.5.
1:37. Well, here comes Mike Nguyen around the final two corners now as well. I don't think he's going to get to Bossman Sean's time, is he? No.
No way. He's going to be a 39 at least. 1:38.9 from Mike Nguyen. What was the poll yesterday in TGP1?
I'm not sure. We'll be able to have a quick look though.
Yeah, because that could be an indication of whether anyone could do a time quicker than that on the inters.
So
interesting. Let's pick up Alex Zafro. Not quick, by the way. 1:13.8 through the second sector. Is it going to be quicker than Dark Shadow? Is it going to be quicker than Nailjack? No.
The pole lap yesterday was a 1:29.9. So I think that shows just how off the pace they all are right now.
So fresh inters will beat that 37.5.
Perhaps. I mean, Alex Zafro has just finished his lap, but I think he must have been validated because it hasn't registered on the screen.
Yeah,
You've got the stereogram out on inters now as well, but yes, yeah, so perhaps it would beat it.
Yeah, I think because it's on the wrong tyre for the track surface, I don't think he would beat it now. But when it is ready for inters, I think they could beat it.
You've got Sir Tom Penguin. Yeah, I do see what you mean, but Sir Tom Penguin, it just says it's gone purple in the middle sector.
What?
I'm not sure if that's just the game, but if it's not the game, and I have to say, I can't hope it's not the game. I hope that is genuine. It's amazing if it is. But he's about to come around the final couple of corners now, and we'll see what this lap time is. No, he's going to be way off. It's going to be a 1:41, 1:42 something.
Yeah, 142.1 for Tom Penguin. He goes into the top 10. Red Bull Kim's out there as well, pushing on. He's in the top 10 as well. We've only got 11 times.
Yeah, we've got the likes of Bossman Sean and Dom and Chris Johnson returning back to the pit lane now. Jack Pearson's invalidated this lap. Mike Noon's going to continue though. Mike Noon's gone again, going to improve to 138.4. So we've got some drivers coming in, and it's still raining though. So really, would you just not put a lot of fuel in, just see how many laps you can set?
I mean, if I'm a Stereogram or a Dark Shadow or an Alex Zaffro, I hope you put those inters on with at least 4 or 5 laps of fuel, because you want to get the best of the conditions on the inters before it gets too wet. I mean, obviously right now it's too dry, but you want to be in that window where it's just crossover for inters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and Alex Zaffro once again is invalidated on this lap, and I don't know if he is going to come in. So he's on the inters, but he is pitting, so presumably he is low on fuel, or just deciding that it's not, that it's he just has to go on dry tyres. Maybe he's just giving into it.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it is raining, but it's not raining heavily. It's not as if it's getting wetter. As Tom Penguin is lighting up the timing screens again. He's 6.5 tenths up on his previous best. I don't think it's getting any wetter out there.
We've got Nell Jack as well coming around the final couple of corners. He's also looking like he's going to improve quite a bit here as well. But yeah, I mean, this is what a strange session this is.
Yeah, Nell Jack round the final corner. He's going to go 7th. 140.0. Sir Tom Penguin, by the way, is threatening. Oh, an improvement. He's coming in. He's coming in. He was on a quicker lap as well. So he's in. I just don't think it's going to get wet enough. I just think it's going to continue to drizzle.
Yeah, it's really odd, isn't it? We've got Stereogram coming around the final couple of corners, and he is on the inters, but he is way, way off. So it still isn't good enough for inters then, clearly, and still DRS, I think, is still enabled. So this is just absolutely bizarre stuff here in Russia.
It really is. Baz out there still in the mediums. He's on a 141.5 so far. Chris Johnson on an outlap. I mean, this is just nuts, really. I don't know what to expect.
I've just been... Sorry, I've just been informed that it is supposed to dry up towards the end of the session, interestingly. And we're going to have a dry race, and it is going to dry up towards the end of the session, I believe, this quali session.
Okay, so it's going to be fireworks then, isn't it? So let's see how it pans out. Chris Johnson, by the way, on an outlap. I think when he starts his flying lap, Dan, that'll be an ideal opportunity during this little lull with most drivers in the pits to maybe do a little tour of the racetrack. With Chris Thurgood just popping up into 5th place at the minute, and he's going on another hot lap on a set of soft tyres. But these lap times, by the way, they're all over the place. They are all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 9 minutes to go, so let's see, if it's going to go dry, I suppose the rain should be stopping in a few moments so they can get one final run in at least on a drier circuit. Yep. But yeah, this circuit, I have to say, you know, the first and second sector, in terms of the actual circuit, I don't absolutely hate it, but it's totally ruined by what is one of the worst sectors in F1 history, the final sector of this track, which is just absolutely just horrible, pointless. I just don't see that horrible off-camber corner, that left-hander uphill. It's just a terrific corner. So yeah, that's the problem I do have with this track.
Well, let's go through it then. There's turn 1 and the run down to turn 2. So the first braking point is one of the longest on the calendar, isn't it? It's an interesting braking zone. It's all action into that first corner, but it is a concrete jungle, isn't it? You know, you run wide there, you get away with murder, don't you? I mean, then this long sweeping left-hander. I mean, this is good, it's fun, and then downhill into this tricky right. I mean, the first sector, I have to agree, it's good, but I just don't think it punishes drivers enough with these massive run-off areas. It's a concrete jungle, Dan.
He has been punished though, Chris Johnson, as he has invalidated his time already around here, so we're not really going to get to see how much of an improvement he can make this time round. Then I was just very quickly looking at Chris Thurgood here coming around the final corner. I think he's about to improve, see where he can go. He goes into 4th now ahead of Jack Pearson.
So the times are coming down. He's flying along then, Chris Thurgood in 4th position. Should know, by the way, G. Pelly does not have a lap time on the board with 7 minutes to go, and he's 17th.
He is on a lap now though, so we'll see what his first proper lap time is now, assuming he doesn't invalidate, of course.
Now he is still the championship leader by a mere 4 points. So he is still the man with it all to lose, but he's on a hot lap at the minute and he's going very quickly. through that middle sector. This could be enough to elevate him up towards the front of the field here. Just needs to ensure he doesn't invalidate, keep it clean and tidy. That drizzle still falling, but not enough to hamper the field. Blair Grills, by the way, is up in 3rd position at the minute. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. Chiapelli round the final couple of corners. This is going to be quickest, and it's going to be quickest by a country mile. Chiapelli, 1:35.9, 1.6 clear. The championship leader back on form, and that is the target that's been set by him.
Well, despite it still clearly raining on the screen, then it is obviously, presumably anyway, drying up and conditions are starting to improve slightly. In fact, actually, I think it has now stopped raining. Just looking on board with Jack Pearson here, I think the rain has stopped, so get ready for the frantic final 6 minutes. I think the times are going to tumble like a fruit machine here.
They sure are. Jack Pearson tumbling off the road there, running really, really wide, but just about has it under control. He's 9/10 up on his previous best through the first sector. There's no doubt about it. The rain is abating, and the temperature is coming back into the tyres, back into this racetrack, and the cars are gripping up to the surface. 7th place at the minute, Jack Pearson, is Alex Zaffro.
Alex Zaffro!
Goes quickest of all here. What a time from Alex Zaffro. Displaces the championship leader, no less. Oh, wow. Alex Zaffro takes pole position here. Unbelievable stuff. Oh,
it's brilliant, isn't it? And Jack Pearson.
Tom Penguin, this man is handing in his resignation tomorrow. He's going to become an esports driver. Unbelievable stuff.
Jack Pearson's got 1.4 seconds quicker in the middle sector, so I have a feeling that Jack Pearson might be about to ruin our hopes and dreams here. In fact, he's not. He's pitting. He's
aborting. Unbelievable.
Sir Tom Penguin's 4th.
Sir Tom Penguin puts it in 4th. Oh, what do they feed these people at Formula 1? Unbelievable stuff. Alex Zaffro's on pole and Sir Tom Penguin goes 4th. I'm just annoyed it's not a Renault front row lockout. Unbelievable. Alex Zaffro's quickest, Sir Tom Penguin is 4th here in Sochi. This is TGP2, folks. Anything can happen, and it usually does. Wow.
So I think they're all coming in now, aren't they, for the final run, I suppose, aren't they? So they can get one final run in. It's not going to be worth finishing a lap. A bit like Max Verstappen in Turkey qualifying last year, I think was kind of what Jack Pearson was doing there. But Bazza isn't pitting. Bazza's coming around the final couple of corners here, and I think he's going to improve massively. I think this could be pole. It will be pole, surely.
By a country mile as well. Bazza, 1:32.228 by 3.3 seconds with 4 minutes to go. Takes pole position here in Sochi. That's very provisional though, because this order is changing moment by moment here, second by second. So it's Bazza on pole from Alex Zaffro. Can we throw the red flag out now, please?
Yeah, end the session now. But yeah, I mean, that is the negative, of course, with Bazza finishing that lap. In that now he's gonna have to try and rush back to the pits and get back out again to try and set another lap. I'm not sure if he'll make it. So he might. 4 minutes to go. You know, he might possibly. But that's why I think all the drivers came into the pits at that moment.
Neil Jack's gone second, so it's Bazza on pole. Neil Jack second, Alex Zaffro 3rd at the minute here in qualifying. Dan, how many cars are outside 107% at the minute?
Oh, I have no idea. So I was even working that out.
Everyone but the top 7. Sean, I know you're watching. You love 107% calculations. Go on, tell us. Oh, unbelievable.
We've got Sam Hickey 1.5 seconds quicker in the first sector. It's so difficult to judge how good the time's going to be because of all the sector times just all over the place, of course. But I think it's going to be a good lap for Sam.
It sure is. Bazza's on top at the minute, 1:32.8. Neil Jack, 1:33.8. Then we go back to the 35s. We've got a driver in the 1:47s at the minute, some 15 seconds off the pace. Such as how topsy-turvy this qualifying session has been. Here is Sam Hickman then, 7th quickest, and he's 4/10 up on his previous best through the second sector. The track is now bone dry. It's in as prime a condition it can be in, and Sam Hickman is absolutely flying as he heads through that horrible off-camber corner that Dan really, really hates. This is going to be potentially in the 1:20s at this rate, maybe 1:31, something like that. Here comes Sam Hickman round the final corner. It's going to be a 1:30.8. He's clear on pole by a mile.
Yeah, that's the big gap, isn't it, now all of a sudden? And these are the lap times that I think you would expect for the final runs. I have to say, I think Matt Tibos was the only driver to get into the 1:29s yesterday. So I think it would be incredible if these guys managed it. So I mean, compared to how quick, we know how quick Matt Tibos is, so that is a quick lap time from Sam.
It's a really good effort, and given how wild this qualifying session is, there's no guarantee. Mr. John's going third. Mr. John has just put the Alpha Tauri in third position here in qualifying. It is all happening. Tell you what, if some of these big guns invalidate the laps, they're in serious trouble.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, Jack Pearson looking 13th. Yeah, we know what he's like good at cutting, as you mentioned. He's going to have to be so careful.
Very, very careful indeed. Some drivers have got nothing to lose, so why not? Jack Pearson has got it all to lose. Mike Noon's got it all to lose, but he's gaining.
Stereogram's gone 5th.
Stereogram goes 5th, so it's Sam Hickman from Baza, Mr. John, Neil Jack and Stereogram, and then Alex Afro. Do not adjust your screens, folks.
Mike Noon's invalidated!
That's the order.
Invalidated.
And Mike Noon invalidates the lap. He does have time though. He does have time to get round and do another.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
If he doesn't, he's in trouble.
Blair Grills is about to improve big time. Round the final corner, see if he puts him second.
Blair Grills onto the front row in second place at the minute. Sam Hickman, Blair Grills, Baza and Mr. John, your top 4, folks. What is going on in this session? Sir Tom Penguin is flying out there. He's 3 seconds up on his previous best. I don't believe this.
Here comes Neil Jack. Final corner, Neil Jack's going to improve as he goes to 4.
Where is Sir Tom Penguin going to go? He's currently 10th. Round the final corner, Sir Tom Penguin for the line. He's up to 6th. Sir Tom Penguin is 6th with 17 seconds on the clock to go down. What is going on?
Well, let's just try to see if anybody else invalidated. Jack Pearson hasn't invalidated yet, and it's looking like a good lap for him. Dom as well. Dom's about to finish his lap, and I think it's going to be an improvement. As Chris goes 4th.
Chris goes 4th.
Sam Hickey goes pole. Sam Hickey, yeah, he was on pole easily, wasn't he?
Oh my goodness me! Jack Pearson! He's out of qualifying! He's out! He's ran into the back of Dark Shadow, who tried to get out of the way, and he's ran into the back of him, and he's out of qualifying, and he's down in 15th place. Unbelievable! Dom Smith's on the front row alongside Sam Hickman now. This is astonishing stuff. Absolutely astonishing. M. Shed's 8th on the grid here.
Alex Afro 6th.
Alex Afro goes 6th. So Tom Penguin down to 10th. Chiapelli's out there and going quickly, but he's only 12th quickest at the minute. He's 12th quickest. Mike Noon's 15th. What is going on?
It's all down to Luca, I think, now, isn't it? Let's not forget about Bossman Sean, though, as well. He's also coming around the final sector. There's a Ferrari just ahead.
He's making mistakes, though. Chiapelli out there. He's on a lap. He cannot invalidate it at all costs. Mike Noon as well. We'll watch Mike Noon first. Just keep it clean, keep it tidy. And there's potentially...
Here's Bossman Sean. Bossman Sean's going around the final corner. Goes second.
So Bossman Sean up to second now. Mike Noon, final corner. He's not going to be pole. Is he going to even be in the front row? He's 9th. He's only 9th. This is incredible. Chiapelli,
here comes Luca.
He's quick. He's very quick. Not going to be pole. It's 3rd.
And watch Chris Thurgood. Chris Thurgood is on a quick lap, and Baza just ahead as well.
Okay, so Baza and Chris Thurgood, are they both got anything in the pocket to go quicker? Baza for the line goes 5th. Chris goes 2nd. Chris onto the front row. What a session here this has been. This has been astonishing. One of the best sessions I've ever witnessed in TGP2 history. And it's ended with Sam Hickman on pole and Chris Thurgood a 10th back in 2nd. Bossman Sean 3rd, Chiapelli 4th, Dom Smith in 5th. Dan Talk, unbelievable.
Well, what a massive reversal that is from the previous race. So now you got Luca starting 4th, Jack Pearson down in 18th. I did not see that incident that you spoke about, but I can't imagine Jack would be too happy about that in the slightest. And he's going to be in 18th. I mean, you can overtake around here, but wow, that's not what you want. Jack Pearson is 8 seconds off pole position.
You'll have to phone the FIA up to get into the race. He's outside 107% for goodness sake. Unbelievable. 4 points off the championship lead, but can't get within 107% of the pole time. Just take a screenshot of that, folks. That is your qualifying results from the Russian Grand Prix here in Sochi. Sam Hickman puts it on pole with a 130.8. Jack Hickman said to his brother he had some stern words after that awful showing last time out. Well, they've worked. Because he's now on pole position in the Haas with a 130.8. Second on the grid, Chris Thurgood, a 130.9. What an effort from him, if he can stay in the race, that is. Bossman Sean is 3rd, 3 tenths away, with Mr. Chiapelli in 4th. Dom Smith starts 5th with Bazza in 6th. Then it's Chris Johnson in 7th. Blair Grills is 8th with Alex Zaffro 9th. And Mike Noon is only 10th. Indecisive is 11th. Neil Jack 12th. Mr. John 13th. Shep is 14th. Sir Tom Penguin 15th. Stereogram 16th. And was it Jack Pearson down in 17th place?
Well, he was 18th, but Dark Shadow in 17th has a penalty, so he will be 17th if it's any consolation. At least he gets the clean sides of the grid.
I don't think it was much consolation. I mean, he's also got one of the longest runs down to turn 1 of the season. I mean, but what a session. What a race we've got lined up here. That was absolutely nuts. John has just put in the chat that at one stage we had 5 cars inside 107%. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Well, I think this race has got a lot to live up to, hasn't it, after that qualifying session?
Good luck to the race. I mean, I don't think it's got any chance. That was nuts. I mean, we had, what, Alex Zaffro on pole and Sir Tom Penguin in 4th at one stage? I mean, come on. That's just ludicrous. Absolutely
Quick reminder
ludicrous.
that the gap is 4 points between Luca and Jack Pearson, with Mike Noon on 240, 29 points behind.
Yes, you're right. Let's get the hilarity to one side of that qualifying session and let's get down to the business end. We've got a real championship fight commencing. 5 rounds to go. Who'll take the upper hand as we leave the grid in Russia? Lights out, away we go. One of the longest runs down to turn 1 begins now. Sam Hickman's in an awful start. Chris Turgood already pulling alongside as they run down towards turn 1. We've got Bossman Sean trying to go through the middle. Down into first corner we go. We've got a Renault up in the air in the background as we've got Chris Turgood going for the inside. The lead. We've got someone round. Who is it?
Bossman Sean spun.
Bossman Sean spun round facing the wrong way. Sam Hickman going backwards. He's down to 3rd. Make that 4th as Bazza sweeps around the outside in the Red Bull and moves up into 4th position. Unbelievable. 3rd position. Sam Hickman comes straight back underneath though and retakes the place. Bazza on the outside trying to cling on. Can he do it? No, but Sam Hickman steadies the slide down the order, but still Bazza will not go away. He's still on the outside, but Sam gets the upper hand and stays in 3rd place. But Chiapelli, what a start, up to 2nd and looking to rebuild that championship lead.
Yeah, it was cheeky stuff from Chris Dago, but it worked, and he's in the lead. And I think Bossman Sean got a little bit too close to Sam Hickman and Chris Dago going into the first corner and just lost it and went round. Jack Pearson has made up 6 positions up to 11th. Shepard in a decent 9th as well.
Absolutely crazy. The McLaren's running 8th and 9th. Then we've got Chris Johnson. I think we've got moves everywhere. Dom Smith and Mike Noon in battle. Mike Noon's in a flyer as well. He's up to 5th already, passing Dom Smith. Alex Zaffro now going to get ahead of Dom Smith as Dom runs wide. The 2 employees in battle, and Alex Zaffro's through, and Dom Smith's been pulled around. Who's that? Blake Grills shoving Dom Smith into a spin. Through goes Shep, through goes Blake Grills, and Blake Grills spins now into the wall, damages the front wing, reverses across the track. Oh, absolute chaos in that final sector, Dan.
Well, Jack Pearson's a full advantage of that. He made up like 3 positions in one corner. Now he's 8th, and Shepard's out of shape at the final corner. Jack Pearson is going to be at 7th by the time he reaches turn 2. By the time he reaches turn 1.
10 places gained for Jack Pearson in the first lap here. 6 for Mike Noon. The 2 drivers who lost ground in this championship battle in qualifying are gaining it all back up. Brilliant stuff from them. It's up at the 2nd time penalty already.
Frantic stuff then in this race. We've got a yellow flag out to card off. It's Stereogram's lost. We've got Blair Grills in the pit lane after that incident with Dom. Dom down to 14th now then after all of that.
Oh, absolutely wild stuff. As Dom Smith was punted, I wasn't sure if it was Shep or Blair Grills. Not too sure which one it was, but certainly was punted round by one of those McLaren drivers as Chris Thurgood extends his lead out to nearly a 2nd. In fact, he does get it out to a 2nd. Strong showing this from Chris Thurgood if he can stay in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Just very quickly, it says Alex Zaffro on my screen is at the back, but I don't think he is. I think he's in 6th place. I'm not sure what you're seeing on your timing screen, Andy, but he's definitely behind the 2 Red Bulls, so I'm not sure how real that is. We did see the Renault go up in the air, didn't we, at the start, so it might be a bit of a glitch where one car can't see the other on the screen.
Yep, I think that's a good point. He is running up in 6th place, if that's correct, and if he is, that's an incredible start. And he's about to pass Bazza for 5th. He is passing Bazza for 5th. Well, if that is true,
yes, indeed.
That's incredible. Like
we'll see if it updates on the time screen once they cross the line, but so we will keep track of that. It hasn't updated, it's a bit of a strange one, but we'll keep abreast of it.
Yep, meanwhile, Mr. Chiapelli now within 0.5 of a second of the race leader as Dom Smith is out of the race. He's in the wall. I think
he's retired in the pit lane, has he?
Okay, he's in the pit lane and retired, so it's not going to be a safety car then, it shouldn't be. under that rule. Mr. John, by the way, doing battle with Chris Johnson, no, M-Ship, into turn 1. And Chris Johnson is now ahead, and now we've got M-Ship and Mr. John going side by side. Neil Jack's in there too. No, it's Neil Jack passing M-Ship, sorry, round the outside. Is he ahead? Yes, he is ahead. Oh, M-Ship going really late on the brakes, round the outside, tries to hold on, runs very, very wide, rejoins, but is rejoining surely behind Neil Jack as the leader. Chris Thurgood picks up a vital 3-second time penalty, and that'll be music to Mr. Chiapelli's ears.
Exactly what Luca wanted then, as Chris already gets himself a penalty. Alex Afro has apparently now crashed out the race, so let's just see what happens with that at the end of the race and just see where Alex Afro finishes. But yeah, to say Chris there, good penalty for Chris, not good at all for him. But Jack Pearson, he's made up 11 positions, but once he hears about Chris there, good's penalty, might spoil his mood a little bit.
Yep, of course, because we know that you get rewarded so much better for a win than you do for a second place. And Chiapelli will be absolutely delighted. You know, I think he would have feared the worst after that race last time out, but that qualifying section has put him in pole position for a strong result here, and he runs in second place, which is essentially a lead now with Chris Thurgood's time penalty. Got yellow flags out there again, and it's a McLaren, I think, going slowly. I think it's Blair Grills. He's going again though.
It is indeed, but look at this, we've got the battle for the lead. They're going for it, Chiapelli's going around the outside for the lead. He's got the penalty, Chris Thurgood, but Chiapelli still goes for it.
He tried it, couldn't quite get it done. I've just about missed that one, but thankfully no move was completed, as Chiapelli is up behind Chris Thurgood and looking for that move. Now, what do you do in this situation, Dan? You're in a championship battle and you're racing against someone who's not directly a rival of yours, and he's got a time penalty, and your other rivals in the championship are behind you on the road. What do you do?
Well, I mean, I suppose you go for the move if it's easy. Like, you know, not if it's a tough one. But Chiapelli's got a penalty himself now.
Oh, the man who usually you wouldn't expect to pick up a time penalty has picked one up here in Sochi. The man who's usually so consistent. That pressure maybe starting to get to the man.
Very potentially, yes, and Sam Hickey will certainly have a smile on his face with that. So it's a real battle then between these two now on lap 4 of this race. And I've just had the quick check of Alex Afro's live stream, and he is out the race. He has crashed. He is out the race, Alex Afro.
No, we've now lost Sir Tom Penguin as well. So the highs of qualifying have disappeared for the Renault team. It's an early bath. They're working tomorrow. They better get some sleep as we watch Chris Thurgood now in a legit battle for the lead with Chiapelli, with them both having picked up a time penalty. But behind that, Sam Hickman's essentially your net race leader here.
He is, yeah, and he's keeping them honest at the front as well. So as you say, it is within still now winning the race.
Oh, we need to watch this battle. Look at this. We've got Mr. John, Neil Jack and M-Ship going down the start-finish straight in relatively close proximity, and Neil Jack is tucked up behind Mr. John, the veteran driver, under pressure from the Norwich City fan, and he's through and up the inside. He's gone too deep though, and he's gone wide, and Mr. John will say thank you. I know my braking points, I'm a veteran in TGP, and he goes straight back underneath him and says thank you very much, and retakes that 8th place. Good stuff from Mr. John.
Lovely sweep around the outside there, that epic turn 4 corner, which, you know, is what I mean. You know, we've got one of the worst corners in F1 round here, but we've also got one of the best with that turn 4. We should give credit where it's due.
Yep, that's a good corner, I'll say that. As Sir Tom Penguin, I should say.
Not another
back.
one.
Oh, yes, we've got enough misters in here. Remove the mister. Mister must go. Must go. Goodness me. It should just be John. It should just be Chiapelli. No, we're not going there again. Let's not do that again. Anyway, Neil Jack running in 9th place, having just tried to pass and failed to get ahead of Mr. John in front. Can he do it this time round? Got to say, I'm a big fan of Neil Jack's helmet. A little dash of yellow, a little dash of green. Tribute to Yeovil and Norwich City, perhaps.
Very nice to see. Baz had just got a little bit of a twitch on around the final couple of corners, and I think Jack Pearson might have a go down the main straight here, as Sam Hickey is the first of the big runners to come into the pit lane. And so early stop for him. Going to try the undercut, which it's what I done yesterday, and it did work for a while. Let's see if Jack Pearson can get Baz for 4.
We've got a tyre on the racetrack on the right hand side. I don't think is Michael Massey asleep? Was that like, there's a tyre on the racetrack, mate?
I think that's from the Alex Afro's crash. Yeah.
I mean, is Michael Massey drunk? There is a full wheel and tyre on the racetrack, but nope, no safety car, no need. As we've now got a yellow flag out there. Will that be the safety car we're looking for? Don't think so. As Jack Pearson runs in 5th position.
And penalty for Mike Noon.
And penalty for Mike Noon, yeah. Goodness me, more penalties than Rangers this season for these drivers today, this afternoon. Incredible.
Well, I mean, we spoke in the build-up of this race about how Jack gets penalties, but in the top 5 now, he's the only one who doesn't have one yet.
Absolutely brilliant from Jack Pearson. It's not like him. There's no doubt about it, though. He has cleaned up his act, Jack Pearson, this season. He's not picking up 15 seconds worth of penalties and ruining his race, is he? Oh, there you go. Michael Massey finally listens and deploys the safety car.
Oh.
There we go. So, and there Alex Afro's coming up as retired on the screen. And there you go. Michael Massey finally listens to Ginger Andy. There was a tyre on the racetrack, and he eventually, belatedly, brings out the safety car. And they're all coming into the pits.
Well, if you want a strange Russian Grand Prix, this is it, isn't it? This is very, very strange goings on here. So they're all going to come in then. And, well, we'll see what happens in terms of losing position. I think Baz is going to have to queue for sure.
Yeah, that's a nightmare for Baz. I feel for him. I really feel for him. He's had such a good weekend of action so far, and he's going to have to queue in the pit lane. He's not even ready for him. On go the medium tyres now, and he will get away. So Baz rejoins the action now. What's the order going to be? It should just be status quo, shouldn't it? At the front, it will be. Aside
from Bazza, yeah, it is pretty much a status quo. But let's just see where Sam Hickey comes out here. Sam Hickey's in 4th. Is he going to be ahead of Mike Noon? He is not going to be ahead of Mike Noon. So Sam Hickey 4th, then ahead of Jack Pearson still.
But, you know, he will have lost a place, Sam Hickey, and that's a loss for him in the safety car. But the fact he doesn't have a penalty makes it a win, perhaps. As Jack Pearson now picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's the only man in the top 7 without a time penalty. And that, to me, is a very big win for Sam Hickman, despite losing a place.
Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point, isn't it? Obviously, with the gaps entirely reduced, it certainly makes those penalties a lot more painful. So Sam Hickey is in a good position right now, you would say. See if he's got any warnings. Oh, he has got a couple of warnings, actually, so he might be on the edge of one himself.
Oh, so it could be a real battle for victory then if they all pick up 3 seconds worth of penalties. Just a quick thing to mention, Alex Zaffro, just for our viewers, he was battling Baza, and I think Baza tapped him, and that's how he crashed. So I think it's a delayed safety car for him and Baza battling. He was up in 5th place, so he was up in 5th place. So what the screen was showing us was right, what the timing ladder was showing us was wrong. He was in that battle.
That is such a shame, isn't it? That's so disappointing. But yeah, he was having an excellent race. He was decent around Netherlands as well, wasn't he? He was certainly running up there as well. So that is a huge shame.
Pole at one point in Russia.
He was, yeah.
That was outrageous stuff. Wow. But what a situation we have here then. So we've got, let's just load the penalty graphic up for you guys, just so you all know the situation. Top 3, 3-second time penalty. Sam Hickman, nothing. So he's net leader. Jack Pearson, 3 seconds. Chris Johnson, 5. Baza, 3. So essentially, Red Bull Kim's net second.
Oh, he hasn't pitted yet, to be fair. But,
he's not pitted yet, but is he coming in now? Let's have a look.
Let's see. I think he is. Is he? Yes, I think he is.
So Red Bull Kim now decides it's a good time to come into the pits. That will, unfortunately, they'll drop to the rear of the field, but he's not got a penalty, so it could work out for him with all the penalties in front.
Blake Grill's also coming in. Because if you start on the medium tyres, it's not an ideal situation for you, is it really? This safety car. If it's just a few laps later.
Yeah. So here comes Red Bull Kim then into the pits, the Danish Viking. Not giving him much commentary coverage of late, but good to get a little bit of action on board with Red Bull Kim, who is of course sporting the number 70 car number. He used to have number 69, but he offered that to me. And you know, I took him up on his offer and said, thank you, Red Bull Kim, I'll take that number 69. That's really nice of you to offer that. So he now runs the number 70. So, you know, the Danish Viking rejoins the track in 15th place, and a good chance of points with all the penalties in front.
So once this safety car goes in, which I presume will be at the end of this lap, what is it going to be, a 5-lap dash to the finish? It's the first time we've had a safety car in a TGP2 race for a while, actually. I can't remember the last time we had a safety car. Was it Hungary, I think? Did we have an early safety car in Hungary a few weeks ago? So it's been a while, and it's going to be Chris Thurgood at the front, who is going to effectively become the safety car in a few corners from now.
Yep, so Chris Thurgood with 8 laps gone. We're about to go into lap 19, lap 9 here in the Sochi Autodrome circuit. I mean, a venue that you touched on at the top of the show, Dan, not the most extravagant, not the most striking of circuits, is it? It might have these lovely fancy Olympic Park buildings, but it's still pretty dull nonetheless.
It is.
I've got to agree with you. Every time we come here, I look at this place and go, oh. I mean, if I really wanted depression, this is the place to go. Sorry, Sochi. I'm not. Thank goodness we might be going to St. Petersburg soon. But anyway, here we go then. Lap 8 out of 13. About to be lap 9. The safety car's about to pull in, and we're about to get back to the action here. It's Chris Thurgood from Chiapelli from Mike Noon. Can Sam Hickman fail to pick up a penalty and stay within 3 seconds of these guys to get a 3rd win of the season and bring himself potentially at a push back into title contention? But I think that's a tall order.
I think it is. Let's see when Chris Thurgood is going to drop it then. The safety car still is only just there. He's going to have to back off a little bit more here. He is. He's going to have to slow right down, in fact.
And that might damage a few cars behind if there's a little bit of a Constantina effect. We'll wait and see. But around the final corner, we are back racing once again here in Sochi. Across the line, searching for the first TGP-related victory in about 4 years, I would say, is Chris Thurgood. A first victory, I would say, in TGP2. He's usually a TGP1 driver. He's not going to pace on this game. But is he finally showing his worth? Can he go on and take victory for the first time this season?
Poor turn 1 for Mike, turn 2, he went a little bit deep, and Chiapelli's right on Chris.
Oh, he's right on him. He knows this is vital for the championship. He's got Mike Noon breathing down his neck as well. Jack Pearson with 1 car and Sam Hickman in between them. But remember, Sam Hickman will get ahead of all these cars, and Jack Pearson will be right on them as well. So Chiapelli not building the gap he would have liked leaving here at the minute.
Penalty for Chris.
Picks up another 3-second time penalty, and that is a disaster for him. No doubt about it, that's a complete disaster.
Yeah, that's nightmare stuff. I mean, that would drop him down to 10th at this stage. Sam gets one as well then, so it's all even now, really, apart from Chris.
Oh, that's great news for Chiapelli. He's essentially the race leader now. But he's got so many cars in close proximity on similar pace behind him. Look at this. We've got Chris Thurgood. Look at Chiapelli, Sam Hickman, Jack Pearson, Chris Johnson, and even Baza in there as well with a little bit of pace.
Well, how much would Mike Noon love to win both races tonight and get past Chiapelli? 29 points behind, remember, after that previous race. He really will want to make this move.
Yeah, and even that fastest lap point is getting ever more important, isn't it? As Chris Thurgood has it at the minute. As across the line they go to start lap 10 now out of 13, and Chiapelli is getting closer and closer. He looks a man on the mission here. He looks to try and pull clear and get the move done. But does he do that though? We spoke about it earlier. Do you go for the move in this situation? You're going to get the lead anyway from Chris, so why bother taking the risk? Especially when your championship rivals are there to pounce. But the problem is, if he doesn't make the move in 2 cautions, he will be attacked.
Yeah, I think when it gets to a stage like this, with the safety cars just being out and the cars are right up behind you, it is sort of a bit more important to try and get ahead regardless of the penalty for the other drivers. So yeah, it is still kind of crucial for Luca. Look, Chris has got 62% ERS compared to Luca's 20% at this stage, and Mike Noon on 44.
I know this is not the final race of the season, right? But it feels like Nico Rosberg is Luca Chiapelli in the 2016 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the minute. Do I go for the lead, or do I just keep what I've got and worry about the others behind? It's almost like that exact situation he's in at the minute. But it looks like Chiapelli wants to go for it, doesn't he? He looks like he's got the pace to go for it.
Well, if he's informed at any time soon about Jack Pearson's penalty that he's just got, he might be a bit more careful about it all, because that's now 6 seconds for Jack Pearson.
It's a disaster. It really is. Like, what's Lucas' penalty situation? How many warnings has he got for that second penalty? Do you know?
I'll have a quick look now.
Because that could be vital as well. As look at Chiapelli rounds the final corner. He's 1.1 seconds. He's not in DRS territory. He's going to be under threat from behind now. Chiapelli's in an awful final sector, and Mike Noon smells blood. He smells a chance to go through and cut the gap further in the championship race. He's down the inside. He's into second place. Vital stuff in this World Championship battle. Crucial move on lap 11 out of 13, and Chiapelli drops down to third. Massive moment. Jack Pearson, meanwhile, is ahead of Sam Mickman on the road as well. Drama everywhere.
Well, I think as soon as Luca dropped out of DRS and had literally less than 10% ERS, that was a fairly easy move for Mike Noon. And, well, Luca's sort of outplayed himself there, outsmarted himself. He's down to third now. Jack is in fourth. Lucas has the penalty. He might be a bit thankful, actually, that Jack just got past Sam.
Oh, my goodness. So, how many warnings has he got down? Is he close?
I think it's Luca is probably 2 warnings away from the penalty.
Okay, so he's, you know, what do you do now? Surely you've got to take what you've got. You can't go pushing and getting another penalty. You've got to take what you've got. But Sam Hickman is coming straight back at Jack Pearson, down the inside, into the chicane. He's through. He's gone too deep though. No, he won't make the corner. And Jack Pearson cuts his way back through underneath and retakes 4th place. Oh,
well,
what a race.
Luca will be looking at his mirrors and just saying, keep battling, because this is just letting me pull away.
Yeah. But this is for the lead, isn't it, really, between Luca and Mike Noon, because Chris has got 6 seconds. It's so important.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
But potentially, sorry Dan, but potentially we're in a situation here where Mike Noon could get the win and Chiapelli might not get ahead of Chris.
That's a very good point, especially with Chris is 2.2 seconds ahead now. Yeah, I didn't realise just how much Chris was beginning to pull away. So you're absolutely right. It could be that kind of scenario where effectively Mike Noon could gain 10 points on Luca here.
Yeah, vital stuff. And at the minute, there might even be a potential that Chris Thurgood could get up to 3 seconds and still win this.
That is possible. Oh, wow, Shepard nearly dropped it there. My God, how did he save that? I don't know if you've seen that. Just an incredible save there by turn 5 for Shepard. Another penalty for Chris.
Oh, Bosman Sean going alongside here. Going for the move on M-Shep. That's Chris's chance of victory gone. M-Shep runs really wide but holds on. In the battle for 8th position. This is absolutely nuts. What a race we're watching here. What the championship twisting and turning moment by moment here in Sochi. With just 4 rounds to go after this one. Every point's a prisoner. Everything to play for. The TGP Tour Championship is looking set to go the distance.
Oh,
awesome stuff.
Luca was right on Mike Noon there, but he was on 0 ERS once he reached the corner. So I don't know if Luca's going to try and give it one more big go, because this is, as you say, for the win. Is he going to give it one big go into turn 2?
Is it for the win though? Because if they start battling, Chris will get up to 3 seconds. It's 2.7 now. It's getting bigger.
Well, it's 6 seconds now, isn't it? Of course, because now second penalty.
Yeah, it's good. Right, it is for the win. Sorry, mate. Sorry, my apologies. But across the line, look at Chiapelli now, draining that battery. He's got the DRS open, but Mike Noon's got enough to defend with. You feel? You just feel it's going to be enough into turn 1 to defend with. And we know Mike Noon is no easy customer to aggressive manoeuvre. Chiapelli knows that. Is it worth the risk?
Well, Mike Noon's got through that corner okay, but I tell you what, he's right there, Luca, isn't he? Even with no ERS, he's still right there. He might still get one final chance on the back straight as well.
Mike Noon's just got to keep that battery. He's got to keep the 20% he's got. He's just got to wait and hope and pray that he's got enough in his pocket. I just don't know. Does he? Does he or does he not?
Oh, he nearly lost it there, but he's so strange. I mean, it's almost like he's struggling with fuel or something. Oh, he's not pulling away, and he's gone wide.
He's so wide, look how nearly runs into the back of him. Absolutely incredible. And this is a
big
real
chance now for Luca.
What a chance. This is for the victory, remember. Because Chris Thurgood has got so many penalties up in front. Chiapelli opens the DRS for the victory, for a massive moment in the World Championship race. Chiapelli looks left, looks right, goes down the outside. Can he make it stick? He's going to try it. He's got the outside line. Mike gets a penalty. They touch. Mike Noon's ahead, but Chiapelli has forced a penalty from Mike Noon, and that's huge. That's absolutely colossal in this championship battle. And surely now that will hand look at Chiapelli the race victory, and not only that, Mike Noon will finish third, and that will mean that it's a 10-point swing. Across the line, Chris runs to the road, Mike second, Mike now third. Chiapelli gets the win and takes 10 points out of Mike Noon, and he'll take even more out of Jack Pearson, who's only 5th. Unbelievable.
What a race. You know, I have a feeling that Mike Noon might want to be taking a trip to the stewards after that with that final penalty, because he got it, cutting the corner with Chiapelli right alongside them. So I don't think this is over just yet, but what a race that was.
That was incredible. Mr. Chiapelli went for broke, hit the jackpot here in Sochi. He's won it, and he's won it ahead of Chris Thurgood by only 0.3 of a second in the end. Mike Noon comes home in third. That will go to the stewards, I suppose, but it's a 10-point swing as it stands, and that is going to turn the championship back in Chiapelli's favour. Jack Pearson, Mike Noon, penalties costing them dear again.
Yeah, and only the 10 points as well for Jack Pearson, so it's 15 points as well for extra for Luca. Let's see who got the fastest lap, actually. I'm not entirely sure who that was. It was Bossman Sean, so he'll get the extra point for that one. So, yeah, Luca has totally managed to swing it back round into his favour with this race, but wow, he certainly had to fight for it, didn't he?
He sure did. What a result that is for the man from the Isle of Man. They're back in lockdown, but it's no stopping this man. What a result for Luca Chiapelli. What a result. After that awful race last time out, it really has helped him in the championship. I think overall he'll still lose out though, and the gap will come down. But, you know, Dan, this has just got the makings of going the distance, doesn't it?
I think it has, yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
It deserves to.
Brilliant stuff. It certainly does. It's been an incredible championship, and well, I think pretty much everything has happened here just in Russia alone, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely nuts. I mean, we said at the start of the race the qualifying will have to go some to beat the race. I think it really did. Yeah. What a race! And in the end, it's Luca Chiapelli, just plodding away here in Russia, not picking up as many penalties as his rivals, coming home and getting the win. Chris Thurgood, he'll be gutted with second after that. Didn't need to get that third penalty. There was no need for it in the end because they were all battling behind, and it's cost him dear. Mike Noon then, he comes home third, but there's your full results from the Russian Grand Prix. As I said, Chiapelli wins from the North Korean, Chris Thurgood in second, and Mike Noon third. Baza completes a fantastic double result with fourth place for Red Bull Racing. Fifth position, Jack Pearson for Mercedes. He'll be gutted. He'll be absolutely gutted with that. That's not the result he needed, even though he started 17th. Sam Hickman from pole to 6th. Not a good day's work in the end for him. He'll be disappointed. Chris Johnson comes home in 7th. Bossman Sean is 8th with Blair Grills in 9th. Now Jack rounds out the top 10. Mr. John 11th. Red Bull Kim in 12th. Well done, Red Bull Kim. That's a few points on the Joe Sayer point system. 13th place for M. Shep. 14th Indecisive. 15th Stereogram, then Dark Shadow, Sir Tom Penguin, Alex Zaffro. A race to forget for Renault. The highs of qualifying, the lows of race day. No points on a Sunday for them. And it's Dom Smith completing the order in 19th here in Russia. But this championship, by the way, it's hotting up.
So with 4 rounds to go, I make it Luca Chiapelli on 294 points. And then 19 points back, you have Jack Pearson now on 275. And then 20 points back is Mike Noon on 255. Sam Hickey and Chris Johnson are 219 and 216. So I think it's fair to say they're probably out of it at this stage. But Mike Noon, at least he's managed to salvage something tonight with that win in the Netherlands. He's still in there. He's still right in there. And so is, of course, Jack Pearson.
Yep, Jack Pearson. I think he'll leave here disappointed because he cut that gap right down, didn't he? He really did a great job to get it right down, and he's ended up leaving here 2 points further back than what he was when he came here into tonight. So I think it's a disappointing night for him. I think Luca will look at it on reflection after that poor race last time out in the Netherlands and go, you know what? I might have turned this two-way fight into a three-way fight again, but I've extended my lead. It's 19 points. There's only 4 races left. You know, that's a good day's work. It is.
It is, yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's Mike Noon probably come away. Yeah, probably ultimately the winner of the night, I suppose. Although I have a feeling he's still going to be pretty annoyed about getting that penalty at the very end of the race while being side by side with Lucas. So I'd certainly suggest having a look at the TGP Twitter account later to keep up to date to see if there's been any post-race penalties, because I think that's going to be a bit of a controversial one.
It sure is, and it could have a massive, massive, massive impact on the championship as well. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. I mean, Dan, 4 races to go. I'm going to have to ask you, if you could pick a winner, who would it be?
I mean, I think based on consistency, I think you have to say Luca's going to do it, but he can suddenly, just out of nowhere, seem to get involved in some sort of dramatic instance, as we've seen obviously in Singapore and the Netherlands earlier. So I don't know, if Mike can find his early form, then possibly he could do it as well. But then if Jack can just stay in there, he could just pip it as well. It's so close. I think I have to say Luca right now, but 4 to go, anything can happen.
You know, I have to agree. I just feel like Luca has just got enough in his pocket. It's just got enough in the pocket. And I just feel that the Joe Sayer point system, and I'm not slagging off the point system, I just feel if you have a bad race like Luca's had, you can still recover it. And he did that in Singapore. He's done that again tonight in the Netherlands. And it doesn't do as much of a damage as it could have done to your evening. So I think that system may help him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it definitely does play into your hands, doesn't it? If you have an early spin, and you can easily get back into the points a lot easier than certainly in TGP1, of course, with those extra points with the system going down to 14th place, I believe.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, but I would have to agree. I think Luca is in pole position, but what do we know, folks? We're just commentators. I mean, if you really want to know who wins it, you'll have to join us for the next 4 weeks, or the next 2 weeks, 4 races left to go in this TGP2 season. You don't want to miss it. This is going to go right to the wire. That's all from myself, Ginger Andy, and Dan the Man F1. Be sure to join us again at the exact same time next week, 7:10 roughly, for the next 2 rounds of TGP2 action. You don't want to miss it. Goodbye.